Hello, 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 and welcome to Macca in Your Attic, a Paul or Nothing spin-off show where the guest always shows me their junk. Ooh, misses. Today, we're going to go through their attic, sift through the tit and the tat to find the primo McCartney memorabilia. We're going to see 5, or maybe a couple more if we're lucky, uniquely fun, strange, sentimental, unique, rare items of their Paul McCartney collections, each with their own story. As always, hit me up on the Patreon page for instant access for all of this stuff. Drop me an email at paulmccartneypod@gmail.com or on Twitter at McCartneypod if you ever want to say hi. That would be lovely, folks. Today, I am delighted to be joined by the other half of the Chewing the Musical Fat podcast. I had his co-host and brother on here a few weeks ago. I cannot wait to see how he now fares on this obviously hard-hitting journalistic program that we've got today. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Stephen Nicholson. Welcome to the show, dude. What's going on?
Well, I am pleasantly surprised not to have a hangover today, Sam, after spending a day out yesterday in the pub from 12 and getting home at a relatively early time of 10 o'clock last night. So
10 o'clock.
I think in these, that's decent. That's decent. I think when you get offered to go out, because we're obviously still in these COVID times, it's a real treat to get out. So yes, that was good fun, but a good night's sleep, and I'm as fresh as a daisy, which is a good job since I'm going to be on YouTube for the rest of my life.
Yes. No, I've got coffee as well. I was up until about 4 a.m. playing a card game with my friends last night. So yeah.
Poker?
No, it's Yu-Gi-Oh. It's much lamer. I say cards to be nice and ambiguous, but the moment someone presses me, I just fold under the pressure. But yeah, playing Japanese animated card games, like all us true rockers do, you know.
Yeah, my oldest son, for a period of time, loved that and started collecting the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So I am familiar with it, and I could never, ever work out what the hell was going on.
No, I mean, it has ruined some of our friendships, because like there's 3 of us within the group that kind of play it very heavily, and then there's this other guy who is our 4th guy, but he's not interested, so he'll just be there on his iPad or watching TV, and then we'll go, "Oh my god!" and be like, "What?"
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Luckily, he's confident in himself. So,
well, my oldest son Luke had the cards, and I don't think he ever learned to play it properly. Let's play it, Dad, and he would just give me cards. And funnily enough, he seemed to make the rules as we went along, and he always won.
No, that's how my dad played Monopoly.
I've won again.
I rolled a 10 because I helped you be born. That's why.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah,
basic rules. But yeah, let's begin. Let's go all the way back. When did you first start collecting Beatles McCartney memorabilia, and was this around the time you first started listening to them?
Well, I suppose my first exposure to Paul McCartney and the Beatles was back in the early 80s as such, where if I happened to be off school ill, my dad would be working, my mum would be home, and of course back in those days, no internet, so there'd be nothing on TV, so you would find something to do or listen to, and lo and behold, there's my dad's Beatles records and John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and just started to listen to them. So my first ever compilation cassette, remember them, was a Beatles compilation. So from that point on, that was me hooked. I was a big fan of both the Beatles and Paul McCartney, and just started to buy the new releases as it came out, probably from, I know it was okay because my dad used to buy the records, so I was okay up till a point. And I think personally I started buying McCartney stuff maybe 88 onwards, so Flowers in the Dirt and
Good Time.
Yeah, and I don't know, we're just talking about it off air there, but things like Come On People and stuff like that. So yeah, and then of course with the advent of CDs as well, getting my first CD player, started going back and buying a lot of the older McCartney, well, obviously new CDs, but older albums like Band on the Run and stuff like that. So yeah, that was it. So really the genesis of it was back in the early 80s. And I suppose properly getting into the 90s, buying the CDs, and that's then continued. I suppose what's happened now in the last couple of years, last 4 or 5 years, it's kind of gone back the way, and it's been collecting vinyl for McCartney, which is great. So, and you'll see some of that today, because it's some of my most treasured stuff. So yeah, that's where it came from. So I do love myself a good McCartney record.
Have you gone from the point yet of not just collecting one copy of everything, but are you moving on to multiple copies of the same album and variations of singles and stuff like that now? 12 inches, picture discs, all that lot.
See, I'm a real sucker for. You might have gone on eBay and got yourself a original copy of, say, Tug of War, the album, but then of course every couple of years you'll get a re-release, and it's like, oh, Tug of War, and it's red and blue vinyl. Is it red and blue? I think that one.
Yeah,
and it's like, so, but it's like £35 or something. It's like, should I? And of course, you have to watch how much you spend on these things. And sometimes you take the bait, and sometimes you don't. So yeah, absolutely. And what I do though, which isn't a very good collector side of me, is a lot of the time, if I buy a newer version, I think, oh, well, I don't really need the older one anymore.
You do.
I know, it's dumb. I know, and I'll say, friends, anybody want this? Or you'll sell it on. But yeah, it's stupid. I should really learn my lesson and keep all the copies of everything. So, but yeah, so I do tend to be a bit frugal or prudent with my purchases there, rather than let everything build up, which I know is dumb. No. I will maybe after this today be more aware of this thing.
Oh, you'll be on eBay the moment we finish recording this. You'll have the itch again. But like,
I know.
There's nothing better than just typing in Paul McCartney vinyl 12-inch and just seeing what comes up.
Yeah.
And it's never what you want. It's always, oh, I don't need another copy of Say. I know it's sold well, but like, where's the, where's a less than £100 copy of Off the Ground vinyl? Where's
I know
Hope of Deliverance 12-inch single for less than 50 quid? I mean, one that has come down is Temporary Secretary. I feel like it used to be 50 quid. Now I'm seeing them go for like 30, even though there's only like 10,000 copies. Yeah. Rarely without the slip. They've never got the slip.
Yeah.
But 30 pounds for temp, I'll have that.
It's surprising, considering that song in the last 5-10 years has become really something which wasn't, I would say, on most people's radar. That's become one of his most popular solo tunes, and of course it's much more relevant now than it was back then. So yeah, surprised at that. But I never understand how especially with the records, how they vary in price. It's just, it doesn't seem to be a lot of sense to them a lot of the time. And I think as well, when it comes to records, being that I first started buying music probably mid-80s onwards, and of course it was a different time in that if you wanted to get a rare B-side or a remix of a song, you had to track that record down. You had to, and it was like searching for gold, going, each weekend going to a secondhand records store or HMV and just having a look to see if something's there that you didn't have. And I know on one level now it's great because you've got everything at your fingertips, but there was something really quite exciting about the hunt for the physical copy of something. It's too easy now, isn't it?
No, I still love secondhand record shops, Swordfish Records here in Birmingham, run by a delightful goblin-esque man who's kind of hunched behind the counter. But like you'll say, have you got a 12-inch copy of Oer Soleil? Yeah, just over here. Like he's got it, and it's oh my god, normally quite well priced. But then he'll also have here's the White Album original pressing, like number 4 or something, $2,000. It's like, oh, okay.
Do you take American Express?
Yes. Do you take a check?
Yeah, I know. It's rubber. It's bouncing, but it's fine. Yeah, there's a good store in Edinburgh called Vinyl Villains, which I don't know how old that place is now, but that's been going for decades, and that was always a fantastic place to go if you wanted to track anything down. And that was the excitement. If you went down each weekend, they always rearranged what they had in the shop window, and it's predominantly picture discs. And if you went down there one day and you seen something, it was, oh, please let it not be too expensive. and you go. So yeah, I love all that. It's great fun.
I feel like the days of haggling are just long since dead though now. It's like they'll charge you what they want, or you can get out of the shop. Yeah. Especially with like Beatles stuff, because there is a premium that unfortunately they're so popular, everyone wants it. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, if I don't buy this random copy of Come On People, someone else will just come in and buy it, you know.
I know.
I've got
I
local...
think that... No, I was just going to say, I think the thing that's, I think, crazy about vinyl now, obviously it's hugely popular again, and I'm sure you've said this before as well, but when you go back to even 10, 15 years ago, everybody was trying to get rid of their records because, well, I've got CDs and now with digitals coming in, and you could buy almost anything you wanted for almost next to nothing. So
Magical Mystery Tour,
or...
£2.50.
I know.
Yeah, it was insane. And then the boon happened. They're now outselling CDs. And you know, everything's now got the £40, £30, £25 tag on it, and it's like, come on, it doesn't cost that much to produce. I mean, you've got to pay the lorry guy, I know that much, but it's a bit of a markup.
Yeah,
the gouging,
it is. And I think with the re-releases, I do, and some are better than others when it comes to pricing. And I know it's not an exact science, and I think Paul McCartney's one of the more expensive guys when he re-releases vinyl. He does tend to be on the high end of things, and then you get somebody else and you're thinking, well, hold on, how are they doing an album for 20 and you're charging 40? How good's the album cover? You know, what material are you using, which is meant to be so much better? So yeah, it can be an expensive pastime, can't it?
Well, there are other like ways they can up the price in ways that I don't even quite understand. Like we've got these half-speed remasters. We've got Wildlife coming out soon. I'm like, I'm just gonna trust that this half-speed thing exists. You know how like in that kind of thought experiment way, that, you know, if you've never seen The Queen, there's no proof she even exists. She could just be a psyop. I've never seen a half-speed mastering machine. I've never heard it be referenced outside of the Paul McCartney fan base. I'm pretty sure it was just someone at MPL going, how can we get another £5 on this half-speed remaster?
Get the sticker on the front.
Yeah. and you get a little certificate that says it's half-speed on the inside, and you feel all special. But
I know. And it's like remastered here and by this person, which makes it double the price than any other album coming out.
Can you even... I mean, I get remixes. They're really fun. The Sgt. Pepper 50th, that was a remix and remaster. Yep. It was actually different. But all of the other ones since, I've got such a tin ear. I'm pretty sure I can't tell any differences on the whole. That they're like, oh, there's a slight bit more bass on Honey Pie. But largely, they feel kind of pointlessly remastered. Like, just give us bonus content at this point, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, definitely Sergeant Pepper. Less so, yeah. I think the White Album and Abbey Road. But then beyond that, now you've got Apple doing the Dolby Atmos versions of albums, and I've got a pair of Beats headphones, and I would normally, I would. So if I go to the gym, that's usually the only proper time I'll get time to myself to listen to something while working out. And so I noticed at the tail end of last year, they started doing Dolby Atmos, and Sgt. Pepper was one of them. The albums they had redone in Dolby Atmos. I think the other one, Let It Be, and
Abbey Road has it as well, I think, as well.
Has it got it now? Has it? Okay, and REM's Automatic for the People. And that was an interesting experience to listen to those albums, because I think with all of them, you could, I haven't heard that before. So there was some significant, I thought, changes just with the way things had been mixed to give it this bit more space. So that was cool. That was interesting to listen to that. Bearing in mind, you're in a gym, which can be quite noisy, but it was Look, any excuse to listen to the Beatles or McCartney in any slightly new format, so I maybe hear something for the first time in a mix, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, even like an early demo to me still feels like I'm discovering a new song. So anything that remotely counts as new material, I will go for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the re-releases as well, even for Let It Be, for example, going back to that again, I hadn't really listened to Let It Be properly in a long time, and just to again buy the redone record and listen to it again on Apple and so on, just great. And you think that is a Beatles album that wasn't as highly regarded as the others, and you listen to it again and you do think, why not? There's some great stuff on there. But again, it's beauty is in the ear of the listener, isn't it?
Is there any part of the memorabilia or collecting scene that you've got no interest in? Like, are you one of these people that's like if you walk past a cardboard display cutout, would you be like, I don't need that. I'm not going to buy that.
Well, something like that would be great for my attic. This is what's good. Macca in your attic. I literally am in my attic, which is brilliant. So I do.
That might be a first, actually. That might be the first.
Yeah, Macca in your attic, actually in your attic. And because I've done this all myself in lockdown in 2020. So now I've got all this space to play with. So actually a few cardboard cutouts would be good. Maybe one of McCartney and maybe a Star Wars related one. That would be me sorted. So no, I don't think there's anything that I would say no to. I think sometimes it's the price of things that would put you off. My youngest son, he collects the Pop Funkos.
Oh no, sorry, they are the dirt of society. I hate them so much.
So he loves them, right? But some of the price of them is unbelievable. And I think, and I'm sure there is Beatles and Paul McCartney ones.
Yeah, it's a really good Lennon one, to be fair.
Oh, is there? Right. Okay. But again, I see some of the prices they go for, and it's like, nah, I'm sorry.
And there's thousands of them as well. There's thousands to collect. At least, like, with McCartney, there's about 10 or so Beatles albums, 30 or so solo albums. Chuck in some live shows and some classical. You're done. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine doing that. Though the guest we had on before you, he's collecting all the European single variants of Beatles single slip covers. He's got 2 left.
Wow. Which 2?
Oh, there were. I'll have to go back to the video, but there was like a Belgian one and a one from Norway or something like that. Yeah,
fair play. That's a good effort.
Oh, insane! Absolutely insane. I wonder what this gold record here is behind me. By the way, no, that one. Yeah. Why is my oh yeah. I wonder what that one is. Just here on my screen. What that? Maybe Venus and it's Venus and Mars. Interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, you can see a little yellow and red dot in the corner of it.
Oh, on the side, yeah.
Yeah, and then over here we've got Bill Black's bass guitar, obviously.
That's cool, yeah.
Then a Picasso or something here, maybe. Picasso's last words, drink to me. So are we reaching a point of saturation, do you feel? Like is the phrase there's too much Beatle product being released mean anything to you?
Can you have too much?
Should all the camps kind of coordinate a little more? Like, do we really need another Imagine, All Things Must Pass, Let It Be, McCartney variations all in the same year? Because it's like at the end, it's like at the end of the Beatles when they were like, okay, Paul, you can't release McCartney 1 so close to Let It Be, people won't buy it. But it seems like every time I say that, something new is released and then everyone buys it. There's no slowing the train.
There's not, and it's a good question, Sam, because as you know yourself, the people that like the Beatles will buy Beatles stuff, but they will tend to be followers of the solo Beatles as well. And when there's a re-release, they will tend to go and buy it. So it can be expensive. And I mean, I'm laughing at the albums you just mentioned there because I'm one of the schmucks who bought all of those things last year. The box, the the triple vinyl All Things Must Pass box, which is lying right there. I got the Imagine re-release with now is it white vinyl?
Yeah,
double white vinyl. Yeah, I got that. What else did I get? Let It Be, of course.
Let It Be.
So yeah, but it all adds up, doesn't it? So it'd be nice, yeah, if they did space it, and I think especially with the archive McCartney ones, which can be, if you want to go for the full shebang, you're talking a little bit of money. So it would be nice, yeah. It's like, right, this year, here's the 2 releases. We're gonna it's a Beatles one in the first half of the year, and we're gonna have a John Lennon one there, and then the next year the main release is going to be this Paul McCartney archive collection re-release. And it would just make more sense, wouldn't it? But is a lot of this not driven by the need to make money from these? I'm thinking the copyright and all this kind of stuff now.
Yeah, there's also a part of me that wonders, are they worried that certain percentages of the fan base are dying off?
Which is true.
Yeah, so we need to release them whilst there's still tens of millions of people who will still buy this stuff.
But it's true.
In 2050, are people really going to be fussed about, a re-release of Wings at the Speed of Sound again? Probably not,
Probably not. But it's a great point. I know my dad. I mean, he'll be what this year, 72 this year, and he was, if you like, a young Beatles fan when they came out. He's what, 12 or 13-year-old. So I mean, look at his age now. So it's yeah. I think copyright and age has got to play a factor, especially, I think, going off on a tangent here, I think for this younger generation now, I don't know if music is as important as it has been to previous generations. And that I think there's a lot more in the way of different types of entertainment than there used to be. Video games, for one. I think the rise of streaming, there's just so much at everybody's fingertips these days. So I don't know. And even music, you could say, has been devalued by streaming. In that, I mean, and I'm one of these people. I pay for an Apple Music subscription every month, and I mean, and for what you get, it's next to nothing you're paying. But does that cheapen music? So I've got access to almost every song ever now, on my computer, iPad, iPhone. So I don't know. So I think, yeah, for physical releases, I think you're playing to a certain gallery, and that gallery is predominantly older. So yeah, fill your boots while you can.
I just wish so much of this stuff would get reprints so that I could get it on vinyl.
Agreed. I know.
The archive I'm never going to see a Band on the Run archive box set mint condition for sale again. It's just not going to happen. I'm never going to get access to the Wings Over Europe bonus disc that was only available in the big box. When's Weird Al going to reprint his albums on vinyl, for Christ's sake?
It's a tough one though, Sam, isn't it? Because I suppose if you're the one producing these,
it's not worth it. It's totally not worth it.
I know it's a tough one, because if you release something and it is meant to be something a bit special, and if you do decide to then put it out again, are you then slapping the face of the people that bought it originally, who thought they had something that was a one-off special? But then you've got this other group of people saying, well, I want it as well. Why don't you just give me it? I'll pay the money. So I know it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a bit of a no-win scenario, really, if you're the one producing it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people love how exclusive Unplugged MTV with Paul was, it had a single pressing, but look, it's going to be included in the Off the Ground box set. We all know this.
Yes.
It's going to be Off the Ground, the B-sides, and then MTV Unplugged as the third disc. Nice little set. But there are going to be some people who are going to go, oh, well, I guess my one doesn't, it isn't worth as much. But it is still, because it's the original one that was part of that original run. It's not this new remaster. So it still does have some value. I mean, there must be a lot of people who owned the Glyn Johns bootleg for Get Back who must be annoyed by the new box set.
I know. But hey ho, it's. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story about talking of something which you think back and see yourself and you go, what an idiot you are. So 1990, I'm on a school trip to Berlin, and this is just before the wall was officially coming down and Checkpoint Charlie's been taken away. So this was great timing because this was the last chance to experience what life is like in East Berlin and what it's like in West Berlin. So brilliant trip. But on the eastern side, we were coming back to our hotel, and there was this guy in reception, and I think it was, sprechen Sie Deutsch? And we're like, no. What was it? Parlez-vous français? And we're like, no. You speak English? And I remember my friends going, oui. And I remember, right? And it was a genuine just mistake. And I just remember the German guy looking at us and going, oh, what a shame. But anyway, he had an original copy of the Russian album.
No. Oh my God.
Obviously released in the Eastern Bloc. He had it and was trying to sell it. And he was wanting next to nothing for it as well. And I said, no, how stupid. How stupid is that? The original copy from that time. And I said, no, how stupid is that? Wonder how much that would be worth now.
No, it's not as stupid as doing a remaster of it and not including the bonus 2 songs that were on the subsequent pressings of it.
Why not?
The yellow vinyl one is, I have to buy it at some point, but it's worthless. It doesn't have I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday on it, which is probably my favorite song from the entire album. So I'm just gonna have it just to sit in a little sleeve, I guess.
But that annoys me, I think, when a band releases an album and again, go on a tangent, for example, Bon Jovi released Keep the Faith album, and I think in Europe there was an extra bonus track on it. So if you're in Europe,
great,
you have all these, you've got all these songs, and actually this extra track was one of the best on it. So you like the song. Then they re-released vinyl, so it was a double vinyl. So I'm buying that. I still like that album, and it's missing that song. So it just feels like when I'm playing the record, it's like every time it's like, oh, I'm missing that great song. Why do you not just put it on? It's double album. You've got space. Put the song on the record.
I mean, it's like Flowers in the Dirt, Away Soleil is on the CD and the tape, the cassette.
That's right.
Not on the album. It's like, okay, that's one of the best songs. Couldn't you have taken off Motor of Love instead? Make that the bonus track. I guess not.
Oh, I don't get it. But then, as you know yourself, because you got more money for CDs when they were on the rise there. Everybody, when they were putting out their album, was putting bonus tracks on the CD version. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got them on a cassette, and obviously the record would be missing those things, because they wanted you to buy the CD instead. And if you're re-releasing it on vinyl, please put those tracks on it.
I love the idea
extra
that
tracks on.
Because there's the concept of the Japanese bonus track as well, and that's because Japan had a huge dearth of people buying like Japanese like CDs made in Japan. It was cheaper for them to ship it abroad, so the reason they put the bonus track is to encourage people in Japan to buy, and keep that money, in Japan, which is a really interesting idea. But then that ends up flipping the coin, where foreigners end up paying the Japanese to send their Japanese copies over to them for even more money. So I guess it's a win-win situation, really.
Yeah, somebody's making money out of it, that's for sure, as is always the case.
Is there any item that eludes your collection so far, like a little crown jewel that you'd love to add?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Nothing specifically, no. I think
Hofner bass, maybe.
That would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. Actually, it would be a record, right? And it's not even an old record. I could get it if I wanted to now. So, Give 'Em Regards to Broad Street is a sentimental favourite of mine, because my dad bought it when it came out, and that tape got played all the time when me and Paul were in the car. So we love that album, for sentimental value. And probably some of the Beatles songs on it, that would have been our first exposure to them as well. So the cassette and the CD obviously had all the tracks on it, and the vinyl copy was missing a couple of songs. So I would love for that to get a proper re-release, probably have to be a double album to get everything on it. I don't care. I want to get that. I want a proper remaster. I want extra tracks, just, and if it could be colored discs as well. Don't know if that's asking for too much. That would be
white blue, like the outline.
Yeah,
like the tape
I would
box.
love that. I would love that. So that's. There are obviously better McCartney albums, but from a sentimental perspective, that's the one I want, because I know I can buy an original one, but it's missing tracks, and that would always annoy me. That's why I won't buy it.
See, that would have to be a Give My Regards to Broad Street archive set, and that's one of the most hotly debated ones of will it ever get made, because it's kind of like the Star Wars Christmas special of Paul McCartney. It's like they don't want to admit that it ever happened. And like, I remember Jennifer Aniston starred in a movie called Leprechaun, a really terrible horror movie, and she denies it in interviews and stuff. And it's like, look, we know Give My Regards to Broad Street happened. I mean, us uber nerds will still buy the box set. Come on, we will. And if you put the movie in, I know there are songs from those sessions that weren't ever put out, they weren't ever released. Like, there's a Band on the Run version from that era that was doing the rounds. That could totally be on there. Put in some posters, maybe recreate the Club Sandwich magazine, that had the whole special, art cards, postcards. You could even put it in the tape box, the blue, and
that would be nice.
And then everyone on Twitter can go, "We've got the tapes," all makes sense.
I would love that.
But then again, people who say that are the same kind of people who are like, yeah, Disney's totally going to put the original cut of Let It Be out on the Blu-ray. That didn't happen.
No, it's the same as if you're talking about Star Wars. When Disney bought Star Wars, they'll put out the holiday special. I'm still waiting. They'll put out the original cuts of the original trilogy. It
was the one everyone was waiting for. They'll put out the original cuts, and I reckon George Lucas's contract specifically forbade that.
Probably. It's a strange one, right? You've got to respect an artist.
You don't.
Well, yeah. and for me, it's like you've painted the Mona Lisa, and every so often you go back to, actually, that wee bit there could be improved, and you change it, and maybe some of those changes are good, maybe some of them are not so good. So I just don't see. It's like Ridley Scott, and I think the Alien. I mean, every version of Alien, the Alien franchise, the different versions of the movies are out there, and you can watch the one that you prefer. Yeah. You can watch all of them. I just don't see why you can't do that with Star Wars.
Same with like Blade Runner,
Blade Runner, yeah.
I mean, even with like Paul McCartney albums and compilations and stuff. I mean, in the age of streaming, if there are Paul McCartney songs that you don't like, you can just make your own version of Venus and Mars and take out, you gave me the answer if you don't want to listen to it, and just go and maybe go into Junior's Farm instead.
The answer. Oh, you've got me singing that now. That'll be locked in my head. You do seem to like me. See, I quite like that.
It's one of the best on the album. It's one of the best on Wings Over America as well, because he plays it about
prestige.
Well, he plays it about 20% faster live. Like on the album, it's like da na 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 na, but live like da na 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 na. I've totally not taken cocaine in the back room.
The band or bandit to go. But yeah, no, I think that's where McCartney's great. Actually, he does those kind of music hall pastiches really, really well. He gets, I think the vocals and just the sound and the arrangement, he always gets that really spot on. And I think none of the other Beatles, whether they'd be interested in doing that type of stuff or not, but he just had that down to a fine tea, didn't he?
So before we go on to your items, I just need to ask you one important one about the modern McCartney fandom in terms of product. Where did you stand on the McCartney 3 variants and colour vinyls and the cassette and then all the versions of 3 Imagined as well? But there was a lot, wasn't there?
I found it very confusing, I have to say. I thought, I was like, oh, there's another thing released this week. What is it? I genuinely found it kind of lost track of what was coming out there. And it's, I suppose, in terms of relevance, fair play to him for wanting to do something a bit different. And yes, you've got the original release there, but I've invited people to do something different with these songs, and great. But I think to your general music fan, I don't know if you're going to get much interest, other than maybe the original release, and maybe the remix one, depending on which names had done some of the work there. But yeah, as a fan, I just found it a little bit confusing. Obviously, what did you think?
Oh, I mean, I loved that there were so many different variants for people to buy, like every single day. Like you say, oh, there's the 333 one. Now there's the splatter one. There's a blue one, a gold one, a silver one. And then when Reimagined or 3Imagined or McCartney 3 Reimagined, however you want to say it, came out, like you say, fortunately for me, there were names that I was interested in. I was like, oh, cool, Damon Albarn. Oh, cool, St. Vincent, Josh Homme. You know, those were all names that I was quite glad were going to be involved. And to be honest, I still listen to it quite regularly.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I just pop it on vinyl. It's a nice double album. It's nice background music. It's not too in your face. And I just really enjoyed all of the versions. Like, I mean, I love the McCartney 3 as is. And except for was it the guy from REM? He did the remix of Sliding.
Michael Stipe or Mike Mills.
Hang on, 3 man, look something up on internet. Peter
Rock.
No, it might not
Scotland.
Be. Oh no, it's Ed O'Brien from
Ed O'Brien. Oh, Radiohead.
From Radiohead. Yeah, he did the version of Sliding, which is just sliding but 20% faster, and that was it. I don't know exactly what he did there, but yeah, good on him. It was really good album,
I will say, Sam, I think the good thing about what he did there is we're talking about an artist who's approaching his 80th birthday, and to do something like that, which really I don't know if many other artists, when they put out an album, were doing something as creative as that. Fair play to him for that, because it was something different to what would normally happen in the general music marketplace.
You know, there's a load of people just going, just give us the bonus songs, Paul. We don't need other people doing the ones we've heard before.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
You know, you'd love to be in meetings where people decide what is and isn't put out as bonus material. Like, you know, people hope that there are people in the Beatles camp going, we cannot release this until the 100th anniversary. You know, we'll finally get Carnival of Light in 2068. Finally, I reckon.
Well, I mean that's a great one to bring up. It's like how long can you keep that locked away for? I mean, it's like, and I think I'm a huge Queen fan as well, and I know that they've been talking a long time about doing a big box set, because there's just so much stuff that is unreleased, which is, you know, in the fan community really, really sought after. So just do it. What are you waiting on? You know, just do it.
Just release it all, man. We'll buy it.
I know, please get it out. Yeah.
We need
release the tapes.
We need an album based on the Get Back film as well, like actually what's in the movie as well, because so much of like what you hear in terms of like the golden oldies and the bonus tracks, you have to watch the documentary on Disney Plus to hear all of these songs. But it's like, come on, I want to hear Susie Parker and Old Tin of Grease Paint, you know, on my earphones.
I know.
I wouldn't say at the gym, because I don't go to the gym.
Well, I was surprised very surprised. I know the re-release Let It Be, but I was very surprised they didn't take the opportunity to put out something related to the movie. Whether it was just an album, a double album, whatever it might be. I just thought that was a real missed opportunity when there was so much publicity surrounding it, and obviously it was hugely popular, and it was getting a lot of press. Why did you not take the opportunity to put out a release at that? I still think they will, but it would have made sense to have done it then. You would have sold more.
I mean, I know you had the Let It Be album, and COVID messed a lot of things up as well. And Yellow Submarine had to wait like 30 years to get the song track to actually get all the proper songs and the proper mixes in stereo. So who knows how long we'll have to wait before we get to hear 12 different versions of Save the Last Dance for Me and Blue Suede Shoes and all that jazz.
Well, where did you stand on all that? Because I know a lot of people thought. I loved it. I think everybody that who are kind of fellow Beatles fans all loved it. But I know some people did say I would have preferred this was just a 2-hour, 3-hour one-off. I don't need to see whatever song played 4 or 5 times, and I just thought that was really missing the point of it, because you were watching a band try and construct something, but you were also getting to see them just be in a band and messing around, and I loved all that. It was just really, I thought we were so lucky to get to see the band working, because we've not been able to see that before. You were getting to see everything, the tea breaks, the playbacks when they're listening to it, and the moving of microphones and the reasons why, and I loved all that. And so I would have removed a minute of it. And yes, if I have to listen to I've Got a Feeling 22 times, it's just fine. It's all right.
I mean, like, maybe there's an argument to be made that if the movie was made about any other band, it might not be able to sustain its length. But
agreed.
But fuck it, it's the Beatles, man. It is what it is. They are there. They are doing their thing, and there's nothing else like it. And
there's not
in this modern age where going to the COVID-filled cinema suite is kind of a thing of the past. Why not make it 8 hours? Make it 56 hours. We'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally agree, and I think I thought this is where Peter Jackson was very clever, also the director of it, in that it was constructed in that calendar format. It's like, okay, here's the beginning, and here's what they're building towards, and here's the date it's meant to happen. And it's like A to B to C to D, and then everything getting changed. And I loved that. It was like day by day, and the deadlines and the pressure they were under as well to meet those deadlines, and what the end objective was. And I think the original objective and what ended up being the summation of all that was hilarious. It's like, yes, let's go off to, was it Greece? No, was it Egypt or somewhere?
Yeah, 1,000 candlelit Arabs and stuff like that.
And then they end up playing, the rooftop.
See, what that really highlights too is that, and it's never really addressed in behind the scenes documentaries or books about any topic about art. So much of an artist's work, their discography, their filmography, a lot of it's winging it. A lot of it is on the fly, coming up with ideas on the day. So many of our, the greatest scenes in movie history are, Joe Pesci improving on the set of Goodfellas, and Scorsese going, "Yeah, that's great. I love it. Let's keep it in." And
yeah, I agree.
They were winging it when coming up with the ideas for the show. They were winging it when coming up with the ideas for the rooftop gig. And if you never knew it was winged, you'd assume it was the most meticulously planned, well executed, military operation ever. But the genius is in the fact that they could just, 1, 2, 3, let's do it.
Yeah, and for me that was why I loved that it was such a long, exhaustive look at that whole process, because the genius was in just watching them come up with stuff, and you think, where does that come from? Whether it's the lyrics or the song structures or an idea for a song, and watching it develop, it was just amazing to watch those guys work. Incredible.
And, at the end of the day, you can also throw the no true Scotsman argument at them as well. Well, a real Beatles fan would watch 8 hours of them. So I guess you're not a real fan, And then sit on top of your high horse. Yeah, I'm a real fan. I listen to Yoko Ono's solo music. I'm a proper fan. I like Ringo's solo work, unironically.
Yeah, I have to say, if they were going to cut anything from it, the Yoko Ono singing, that might have been on my list there.
No, see, I have a bit of Schadenfreude with Beatles fans because I know that how many people will be upset by that. I'm like, crank it up, Peter, Mr. Jackson, crank that shit up. Especially since it's quite clear that he cut out all of her moments of suggesting things to the band as well. Because there's lots that there's so much recorded stuff of Yoko just going, actually, I think that maybe you should play it this way, and there's none of that in the movie. It was very telling that either she or maybe Julian was like, look, don't make my mom look like a bitch, please, come on.
Well, the thing with it, and that was one of the relatively things of the whole thing with Get Back, was the Yoko Ono thing. In that, yes, she was there by Lennon's side almost the entire time.
Knitting.
But, well, yeah, or reading or something. It was like a silent observer, which, yes, on one level, I'm sure that could be annoying if you're trying to work, but it wasn't as if she was, as maybe been portrayed previously, that she was there, saying, oh, do this, do that, and barking instructions. It just wasn't like that at all, was it? And I thought that was quite interesting.
I can't remember. Did the film mention that she'd had a miscarriage like a week before the session started? Because that puts a whole new perspective on her being there. Oh, it's just John comforting the love of his life who's gone through probably the most traumatic thing she can go through without physically being injured.
I don't know. Because I think if it was, that would have been very early doors, and I don't have to specifically say it's been a miscarriage or something. I don't have to say it's something medical, but I would need to rewatch it. But I think the bit I found most fascinating was something that actually never caught on camera, and it was when Lennon and McCartney went off for lunch and the mics were still on. That was amazing.
When they say a mic in the plant pot, I picture a commentary, like it's clearly a mic with like some leaves and a flower coming off it.
Yeah, I know.
But
you can imagine the two of them. Oh, there's a mic. Let's play it up. So, John,
and they're both doing the like thing that covering their earphones.
But that was fascinating, wasn't it? And I think the whole dynamic of the band leadership, where McCartney's saying to Lennon, look, you're the leader of this band. And Lennon's going, well, we're both going to lead the band. And I thought that was very interesting. McCartney was still, if you like, differential to Lennon, which is interesting considering you watch the sessions and McCartney leads that band. And he's the driving force, hands down, in those sessions.
There's so many times in that conversation where Lennon's like, so Paul, all I want you to do is to take in what I'm saying about my emotive state. And then it just cuts to Paul going, yeah, John. Anyway, so back to the music. And it's like, no, Paul, please. I'm bearing my soul here. Yeah, no, John, it's great. Ooh.
So I've got the song, Get Back. That was fascinating. All those little conversations. I love that.
It does feel like maybe Paul's a bit like one of these people who was like, look, we can't face the reality of our situation, else everything might just break down. So let's just, Paul is like a couple of parents who never want to admit that they probably should be getting divorced. Like, no, we'll stay together for the kids, George and Ringo.
We're happy. We're happy. Yeah. Act like you're happy. Let's do another song. Okay. It is very much so. But again, that was another surprise from it, just to see how much of the driving force he was. And Lennon seems very happy just to maybe at that stage just be along for the ride. And Ringo as well. I was actually surprised at how, I don't know if I should have been, but obviously done a great job on the drums. Ringo really didn't say all that much.
Well, he wasn't mic'd up as well, though. his drum,
maybe,
yeah, didn't have a vocal mic, so there's probably lots of him going. But he's also on the other side of the room, just with a cigarette.
That's right.
Just doing the hi hat and kick drum up and down. Yeah. Bum 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 bang bang.
I know. And then and Harrison, who again a bit. You could tell he was frustrated.
I'm bringing you the best
very,
songs
very,
ever, and you're not recognizing it, please.
But it's true, isn't it? It's like I've got these amazing songs, and no, you want to play, Dirty Maggie Me.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, even just in terms of songs selected for the album, shall we do Old Brown Shoe, one of the most fun, interesting George songs ever, or For You Blue, like probably the most generic. It's still fun. Yep. It's still a fun song, but it's not got the same creativity as Old Brown Shoe. Let's make that just a throwaway B-side for no reason.
I know.
It's a shame, really.
It is. I think especially when he's also got things like All Things Must Pass in his back pocket. It's just bonkers, isn't it? Just absolutely bonkers. I can totally see why the guy was frustrated. But then, out of that, we got one of the best albums ever, and All Things Must Pass.
Yeah. I still listen to The Art of Dying on the regular. I can't believe how modern that song sounds. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but before we end up just doing a whole episode on Get Back, which happens on so many podcasts I'm doing recently, because everyone's still reeling from it. It's like it's almost like a national event on the scale of like 9/11 or something. Everyone's just still kind of like,
where were you?
Where were you when Get Back came out? It's so crazy. Maybe to be less, I should have been less offensive then and said John F. Kennedy, because that's less soon. But yeah,
or the moon landing.
The moon landing, yeah, a positive one. There we go. Everyone's still reeling.
Same year.
The Beatles never recorded "Let It Be," man. It was Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, he done it. Yeah.
It was all rear screen projection. Ringo wasn't even there.
And the moon's made of cheese. Yeah.
No. See, the Shining is actually Stanley Kubrick's confession, saying that he filmed the Let It Be movie.
Yeah.
If you watch it backwards, there's all sorts of clues.
My favorite thing with The Shining, a few years ago now, you've probably seen it when somebody recut the movie and made it into a trailer and they used Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill as the background, made it appear like a jaunty family coming of age drama.
I've seen that. I've seen the one where they do Mary Poppins as a horror movie as well. That's very funny as well.
Oh, I love it when people do that. It's so good.
Right, you're in an attic. We're on Macca in your attic. Let's go on to your first item. What's item number one?
Item number one, where shall we start? Right, well, I'm going to start with one of my most treasured books.
Oh, how have you not had this on the show yet? That's the same copy I've got.
I'll have you. Revolution in the Head. So I suppose the background to this is that my first full-time job, the first ever bonus I got, what did I buy with it? I went to HMV and I bought the Beatles CD box set. It was amazing, right? Just going in there, and it was, I don't know, £240, and we're talking 1992, so it's a lot of money. £240, and it's like, yes, I can afford this, and I got it, and I can't remember who. There was a book that came with it as well, a little drawer, and the book was in it. And I played that box set to death. It was an amazing collection. And this, I never bought it at the time, got it a couple of years later. But this was a great accompaniment to Revolution in the Head. You've obviously read it as well, Sam. And so I've been working from home now for the last 2 years, and been working in my attic. And this book always just is to my side. So if a meeting ever gets boring, I just kind of, oh yeah. And it's a great book from the perspective, one, it's the research is unbelievable into it, where it's the lyrics, the music, the chords, the circumstances, the history of it. It's a brilliantly written research book. But I think my favourite part of it is Ian MacDonald. If he doesn't like something, he will say so, and he actually gets
some of the
cross.
best songs. He's like throwaway garbage. Like, while my guitar gently weeps, don't like it.
Yeah, but I think with that, do you not say it's like proto heavy metal? I can't remember that one, but you get annoyed. It's like, what are you talking about? And then there'll be this 2-minute song from their early days. He'll wax lyrical about it, and you think, really? Was it All You Need Is Love? I can't remember now. But was it All You Need to? Oh, this is just childish nonsense. And what are you talking about? So if anybody has not read this book, Revolution in the Head, do yourself a favor and read it. It is one of the best books I've ever read on the Beatles, and just one of the best books I've ever read. It's just a really, really good read. So yes, that sits next to me up in my attic.
That book is one of the main inspirations for me, being quite harsh on songs that I don't like as well. Because I feel like it sparks more conversation than, because there are so many podcasts, especially in the Beatles world, where everything's great. I love every song they've done. I'm like, do you? Do you love Bad Boy? Do you love that song? Do you love Dizzy Miss Lizzy? Or do you love the Beatles and that happens to be a song that they did? I'm going to be talking about P.S. Love Me Do later today. I'm going to savage it. I'm going to savage it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love you.
Oh, it's awful. Absolute tripe. But, I think that also reinforces your positive views as well. If you're going to say why something's bad, then you have to have the same conviction to say why something's good as well.
I think so. Do you not think those, especially with social media, that a lot of, if you do, for example, you went on a McCartney or a Beatles group and you express your view that something's not good, you're absolutely crucified for it. And I just don't get that. It's like a sycophantic
cult
fan
personality
obsession. Yeah, it is. I just don't get that. It's like you can say you don't like something. If you don't like certain songs or albums, then you don't like them. It's fine. You can admit that. But it's when everything he done was amazing. Well,
these are the same people though that will allow horrible things about Yoko and Heather Mills to go unchecked, and it's time to slag off Kanye West again. Okay, well, here's the 3 songs he did with Paul are amazing, so leave it alone, Karen and Grand Dude. You know what I mean? Get off. It's the bloody Beatles White Album. Get out.
Well, yeah. So no, I just that annoys me. Sycophantic fans annoy me. Come on, not everything somebody does is wonderful. There's variable quality in almost everything in life, and you should be able to freely express your opinion on that, good or bad.
I know the people that watch this on my YouTube channel are the more diehard Paul or Nothing fans, and there are one of you right now will probably be one of them. Whereby if I do a poll of these are my 4 favorite Beatles albums, pick which one's your favorite. Everyone will vote. Everyone will take part. You'll get some people saying, "Oh, I can't choose between all of them." I'm like, that's fine. But then if I go right, here's Red Rose Speedway, London Town, Wings at the Speed of Sound, Wildlife. These are what I consider the 4 worst Wings albums or whatever. People go, there's no such thing as the worst. They're all good. And it's like, come on. Let's be honest. Some things are better than others. By definition, they're not all 10 out of 10. Pick, if these people had a gun to their head, they would be able to pick Wings at the Speed of Sound in a heartbeat. But in this public forum, I guess there's this kind of performative love for everything. Maybe people are going to be worried that they're not going to be considered proper fans, but being a fan means you're able to discern between the good and the bad. Not a fanatic, just a fan.
Well, fanatic's the words, isn't it? It's fanatic, and you know what? If somebody does think everything's wonderful, then wonderful. I'm really, really pleased for you. If you do, then wonderful. But I think for most people, there's variances in quality. It's like another somebody else I'm a huge fan of is Prince. And if ever there was a guy who had quality control issues after the early 90s, it was Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody were to come along to me, oh, everything he'd done was amazing. So, no, I'm sorry. It's just not true. So yeah, I just find that quite strange to people that just won't admit something is not up to the caliber of other stuff. I find it strange.
Prince is also another one with a lot of stuff left in the vaults as well. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure one of my friends told me that like he's got like 5 or 6 albums worth of unreleased material that the estate might release over the years.
That's right. You know? I love the fact that actually, we talk about vaults. It actually is a vault. It genuinely is a vault. Yeah, at Paisley Park Studios, there's a vault with all the recordings. I love that. That he has his masters in this vault at Paisley Park, which is a place I'd love to go to. I have to say, I know they've kind of turned it into a bit of a shrine or a museum to him now. I'd love to go there. That would be great. He's one of my all-time favorites. I'm lucky enough to see him play live 4 times, so very lucky.
Awesome. Right,
yeah.
Item DOS.
Number 2. Right, let's go. Well, we kind of referenced.
It's another copy of Revolution in the Head.
And here it is. So this is, so I decided about 5 years ago to get back into buying records again after really having made the transition over the years to CDs and then started going down the digital route. And one of the things that I love is getting onto the likes of eBay or going to a secondhand store and finding McCartney originals. So I thought I'd show you some of these, which I had to hand. Now, all the best, right? So this is great, apart from the fact, now, did this leave off some tracks that were on the CD or cassette? Or was it the CD that was short?
I know the American cut had different tracks altogether based on what was hits.
Yeah.
Water Spout was meant to be on it also as well.
Was it?
It was cut at the last minute.
If memory serves, I'm sure the record and the cassette had more tracks than the CD. So yeah, so the likes of this, I've got Tug of War, good stuff. Tug of War. A very battered copy of Band on the Run.
Yeah, there we go.
And my favorite, Ram. Now, and the reason I say it's my favorite, 4 years ago, I went to my mum and dad's, and I went to my dad. I went, Dad, you've got Ram. Yeah. Can I borrow it for a couple of weeks? Because, you know, I'm really starting to, really appreciate this album. So can I get it for a couple of weeks? That was 4 years ago. And I've still got it. So whether he knows I've still got it or not, I don't know. So yeah, it's great because this is an album that I think back in the day I didn't really give the time of day. I loved like some McCartney, Band on the Run and such like, and I seemed to bypass that. And I know Ram in the last 5 or 6 years had a bit of a critical reappraisal, and it's a real fan favorite as well. So yeah, this is great. This is my dad's. I've borrowed it for 4 years.
No, I've got my dad's copies of Band on the Run, Wings Greatest. Awesome. They're worth more than gold to me. They are.
Yeah. I know, that's it.
But yeah, those were the first albums you got when you got back into the game, basically.
They are. So, and this is it took me down a lot of the collection route. And I think one of the other nice things, I don't know if it's this one or not, when you go back and get some of these older albums, is you get some of the original, there might be a promo inset for something. Yeah. And it's like, buy the new album from Culture Club. And it's like, I love all that. So, but yeah, this is, I think the certainly going back to try and get some of the original McCartney releases has very much spurred me on to collect vinyl again. And if I was to show you, there's lots of vinyl lying in the corner of my attic now. But I love it. It's great. There's just something nice about having that hard copy of the music. It just, I don't know, just makes it more special.
I've just noticed to the side of me here, randomly just on this desk, I've got my copy of all my trials there for some reason. Don't know why that's there.
What was on the B-side of that again?
Sea Moon.
Yes, live. Oh, it was a sound check one, wasn't it? Yeah.
The McCartney song by Wings that he seems to hold on to with a certain joy. He really loves Sea Moon,
doesn't he?
Plays quite a lot, especially in sound checks, like you say.
Yeah, it's Sea Moon.
But he never does was that the intro I should have been in? Whoa,
yeah.
He just goes straight into Sea Moon. I'm like, oh no, do the bit, Paul, come on.
The bit that was spontaneous when it was recorded. Yeah. Keep doing that, you know.
Yeah, like if he ever does listen to what the man said, I want him to do that weird. All right, okay, listen. You know, just that weird.
Yeah, I know. But I think I don't know if it was my dad that bought the cassette single of All My Trials. That wasn't a big hit here. It was only 30 or
something like that. Yeah, it was on the arse end of people still kind of having a novelty about Paul being back, but I think he definitely oversaturated the market, especially with music videos that I'm going to be discussing later today. You know, there was so much live footage that was a music video, but it was just footage from the world tour, and it's like there was about 12, 13 different music videos put out at that time, and it's like, all right, Paul, dial it back a bit now, son. Yeah. Because that's probably why Off the Ground didn't get such a good reception, because I think people might have been a bit burnt out on the return of McCartney, you know?
I think so, and especially since he then went on that big massive tour and was playing Beatles songs again, and there was a lot of publicity with that as well. So yeah, it may have been better for him to have taken another year or two out before coming back. But then, of course, I had the Beatles anthology on the tail end of Off the Ground as well. So I suppose a lot of ways it's scheduling, isn't it?
I've always said, though, that that's one of the reasons why I enjoy Beyonce and Adele so much, because they'll have a big #1 album, they'll dominate the press for 3 months, and then they fuck off for like 2 years and they don't do anything. And then they come back again. It's like you never get saturated with them. Whereas like other artists, it's like, oh God, is there another Katy Perry single coming out? Like, oh my God, okay, let's have a listen to this. Oh, it's crap, just like the others, you know. It's just endless. Whereas, you know, if you keep things rare and people wanting more than what they got, there's always that, oh, there's a new song by Adele out. I'll go check it out. Why not?
Yeah, I know. And well, and the thing is, obviously Adele just put out her most recent album. And the thing is, you can't miss it, from the hype to the build up to it, and then all the TV specials, and you just can't miss her for this period of time. But yeah, then she'll go dark again.
Yeah, she's got her Vegas residency, which Paul's kind of missed the boat on a Vegas residency now, really. But if he wants to play live and not tour specifically, and you know, keep Abe and everyone else, you know,
it'd be a good option.
Yeah,
it'd be a good option for him. I do worry though for him about his voice now, because I know when he has been touring of late, the voice is obviously noticeably weaker now, I think.
Dude, I had the same hang-ups when I went to see him for the one-on-one tour just after Egypt Station came out, and I was like, oh, the voice is going to sound bad. But when you're there and he's on the stage in front of you, you don't think about that. And
you don't.
And the backing band's backing vocals are so good that they do pick up the slack where they need to.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the last time I seen him was 2018, which might be a nice lead into my next item. But it was 2018, and on the night, loved it. Brilliant show, had a great time. But I'd recorded on my phone some of the songs, and it was the following day, and the Blackbird. I think it was Blackbird. I was like, ooh, Yeah, it's a little bit crooked, isn't it? So yeah, as long as you're enjoying it on the night, that's the main thing. In the moment.
Is it a coincidence that we haven't had a live album from Paul since like what 2011 now, something like that?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's. I think. I mean, like, the guy, his voice is the versatility of his voice and the different styles of music that he's played over the years is astounding. I mean, he's got a fantastic voice, but at some point, it's got to have taken its toll. The kind of songs that he's done over the years, Live and Let Die. There's a lot of growly stuff in there, and even just technically a lot of the ballad stuff. He's a fantastic singer, but ultimately, at some point, it's got to take its toll, surely.
You can't do Maybe I'm Amazed anymore, Paul. Let's just do Put It There or something,
Well, yeah,
I mean, he literally could do a brand new tour called the Changing the Key Tour, where like he just comes out and admits that he's finally going to change the key of all these songs so he can just do it in a lower register,
Going to be like Leonard Cohen or something. Let it be, let it be.
Hear me, women and wives. Oh God, no, Paul, please, no, please. But like, I'd love him to do basically just an acoustic set. Just do an acoustic.
Yes, would I?
Yeah,
yeah. And well, I would love an acoustic album with Rick Rubin producing. That would be awesome. An acoustic album. Who's done similar stuff with like Neil Diamond, Johnny Cash, and so on. So I think that would be pretty special.
I hurt myself today. Ooh, just to see how it would feel.
Wouldn't that be good? So no, yeah.
Paul McCartney doing Nine Inch Nails. Oh my God! But like he does Hurt instead. I want to fuck you like an animal. I want to feel you from the inside. Oh my God!
What did I just say?
So your third item leads into
last time you saw does. It does, and this is something which is unfortunately still digital because I keep forgetting to get a printed copy of it. But it is this photo, and this is taken. Hey, this is me and my dad outside the Glasgow Hydro just before Christmas in 2018 when Macca played there, and the person taking the photos, my brother Paul, co-host Paul. And so why does this mean so much? Well, back in, I think it was 63 or 64, so my dad was, 13, 14 then, he had tickets to see the Beatles. He had tickets to see the Beatles in Edinburgh, right? How lucky is that? Until the day before, he decided to run through a plate glass window. Oh, no, it was a door. It was a door. A glass door. He decided to run through it and ended up in the hospital, funnily enough. So he couldn't go to the show. And he gave the ticket to one of his cousins who went to the show and said it was amazing. although he couldn't hear very much, unsurprisingly. Classic. So my dad never got to see the Beatles live, and he never got to see any of them live as solo artists until 2010, and he was playing Hampden in Glasgow, and me and Paul got him a ticket, and the three of us went through to see McCartney. So that was lovely. And again in 2018 there, and the reason why that means so much to me is I think because I think Paul McCartney and the Beatles music means so much to me, means so much to Paul, means so much to my dad. And I just think it's lovely. I know it's the same with your dad as well, that you had that, you've got that bond, that you've got something that you all love, that you can talk about, which I think is very, very special. So to be able to share in that with your brother and your dad, I think is a special thing. And also I think, I mean, I'm a father to two boys. And my oldest son, Luke, he's been starting to get into music over the last couple of years. And one of the nice things is you'll kind of listen what he's playing in his bedroom, and you'll hear things like the Beatles. He likes the Beatles, Muse, and the Killers, and Oasis. And you think, yes, that's your influence there. He's liking that kind of stuff. And I think the other nice thing is he'll have stuff on, and I'm going, who's that? Who's that? That's good. And like, that's Imagine Dragons. I'm like, all right, okay, never heard of them. I must give them a listen. I love that. And I just think that's so important if you're if you're a parent, to just to have that kind of bond where you could both go to the concert to see the same band, even though you've got that age difference there. I think that's important. So yeah, that photo means a lot to me, because I just always think my dad, after all those years, got to see Macca. Better late than never.
I've got a photo of me in front of the same poster, but it's on my friend's phone.
Oh, have you?
And he hasn't sent it me yet. I need to get him to send me that. That's perfect Twitter fodder. But I was next to this Japanese guy at the concert, and he took a bunch of photos of me on his phone and like videoed me as well. And I never gave him my phone number.
Oh.
So he's probably back now in Tokyo or Osaka. Like with just random footage of some crazy hairy guy at this concert. Does he not know who I am? You know,
well, maybe it's, I suppose, one of these things. You might get lucky one of these days that
it gets posted online.
And you see it. But that's a shame, isn't it? Yeah, when it's something special like that, it's a shame.
Well, actually, I've got a lovely souvenir from the concert. Actually, 1 second.
Oh, have you? This is great. It's like you've done the world's best magic trick there by disappearing. That was disappearing under Linda's legs.
I've got this lovely little Egypt Station mug.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
nice.
The story about this, it's one of my more shameful moments. I bought a mug. Then I went to a pub in the O2. It was a tiled floor. Slammed my bag on the floor. Smash.
No.
And I go straight back to the kiosk, push in front of everyone. I'm like, "You sold me a broken mug!" and then I got a free one. And I'm like, "Oh God, I've just robbed Paul McCartney. I don't deserve to be here." Right.
And I mean, and he's short of cash. I mean, you should feel ashamed.
I've taken money out of Stella's mouth. You know, I can't believe I've done that. I'm sorry, Beatrice. I'm sorry, James and Mary.
Fair play. Yeah.
No, my inner Karen came out in that moment, 100%.
Why not? And what did you think of that album, Egypt Station?
Oh, loved it at the time. Liking it less and less as time goes on. It's obviously not the classic I thought it was. Probably could have pared it down to a single album.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a podcast out there that trims albums that are too damn long.
Yeah.
That actually would be a good one. Actually, must note that down. Yeah,
because there's lots of bonus material as well. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people expected as the bonus material from McCartney 3 to come out in the same way, as in get put out in little sections over the next months. And what did we get? We got original take of Women and Wives, original take of this and that. It's like, oh, that's not bonus material. I want 10 new songs, you know.
Missed opportunity.
Definitely. But, you know, songs like Dominoes, Back in Brazil, Caesar Rock, Come On to Me, For You, you know, they're all classic McCartney tunes. Do I listen to Despite Repeated Warnings that often? No, not really. Do I listen to I Don't Know? Not really. But hey, you know, it was still my first McCartney album,
which makes it special. Yeah, I
remember I was having a bit of an anxiety attack on the day, unrelated stuff, and then Happy With You came on, and I remember just the stress just leaving the body.
Yeah,
nice. I walked around angry. I used to feel bad. It's like I was like, oh, I love this. This is fantastic.
Right, so you want item number 4. Here we go. And it's actually another book, but a very different type of book.
I've never had one of these. I can't believe I haven't had one of these yet. A piano book.
Yeah, so Easy Piano. So the story to this is back in
Brazil.
Yeah. Was it March 2020 in Britain? We went into lockdown, wasn't it? March. So we're approaching the 2-year mark with that. But
crazy, isn't it? It feels like last month that we came out of it.
It does. Yeah, it really does. So I've been working from home now nearly 2 years, which is fine. So I enjoy it, and I get to listen to my music while I'm working. Happy days. And so I made a very conscious decision that I didn't want to waste the time being at home. So I was going to have more time to myself. And I thought, right, let's do something productive with it. So I thought, right, I'm going to do 3 things, achieve these 3 things by the end of the year. Always good to have a target. One of them was to do my own attic conversion. Done. Literally just made that before Christmas that year, which is a minor miracle considering I'm normally DIY disaster. So this was a huge undertaking. So that was great. I also wanted to learn to speak a foreign language properly. So I started studying French. And the final thing was to learn to play the piano, because I can play some instruments at a very basic level, like guitar, bass guitar and such like, but I wanted to really properly learn. So I bought a keyboard, and the first book that I bought was the Play Along Beatles book there. So just to try and learn how to read the music and so on. So here we are nearly 2 years later, and the Beatles were my primary source for learning the piano, along with the Simply Piano app, which I highly recommend. So I have to say, I know you play music yourself as well. The absolute joy in being able to sit down and read music and play songs that you love. There's actually not much better in life than being able to do that. It's amazing. It's like when you suddenly get it and you're like, oh, this is so good, being able to play these songs. So yeah, that means a huge amount to me, being able to do that. You're never too old to learn something new.
If I could play like Another Day by the Ruttles or something like that, just doing that proper Martha My Dear, like Lady Madonna style playing. Like, yeah. I guess like with piano, can you do what I do on that? So if I ever get lumped on bass, I just do the root note. You know, just play B, E, A. I'm guessing you can do that with piano as well. Basically, just play the chord, and then you're just making your way through the song.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing about learning something like that is it's even just learning the notes, and they start you off with, right, you're going to learn these 3 notes, and it's like, right, okay, and where they are, and okay, how they look when you read the music. It's like, and I think it's just amazing. Then you're like 6 months down the line, and you just think to yourself, I'm now using both my hands to play chords on a piano, and you just think to yourself, that's amazing. And it's like, how are they working in tandem together? And it's all making sense. It's great. But yeah, you can, of course, take the one finger and you'd be able to play stuff. Of course you can. And I think that's what's good about musical instruments, isn't it? And I think with the piano, there's different levels that you can play out. So you might have sheet music and it might be the easy version. You could have the intermediate and the more advanced one, but you're still playing the same song. It's just obviously the more advanced you go, the more notes you're playing and the harder notes that you might get. But I love it.
Going back to Rick Rubin, it's like with McCartney on McCartney 3-3-2-1. It's like, so you play this note here, and you play this note here, and then you go into Let It Be. Like, no, Paul, you don't just write Let It Be. There's a little bit, you've missed out a few steps there, you know.
Yeah.
So you press this key here, and you also be a genius.
And then you've got a song. It's like, how? I have to say though, it's obviously just it's putting chords in a certain order, and it's the magic's in putting that into that order, which obviously McCartney does, which is the genius part. But I think when you start to learn to play, and there's certain songs that you love that you learn, and there's maybe 1 or 2 specific chords, and you go, they're the sweet spot ones. It's like, ding, like, oh, that's so good to play that. Like the Eagles' Desperado. I can't even remember which chord it is, but it's one of the more complicated ones to get your hands around. But when you get it, ding,
for
it's
me,
just brilliant.
For me, it was, I remember when I was at uni like 10 years ago, and I realized that things we said today is just A minor.
Yeah.
And then you just go to E7 and then back to A minor. It's like the two of the easiest chords ever. It's like, oh, that's it. However, what Beatles do though, and they're fuckers for this, they'll have really easy verse sections, and then the middle eight is like F sharp suspended over fifth, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys, couldn't you have just done F?
Well, that's right. Yeah, it goes all over the place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
Like, and like they just use weird chords, the Beatles, a lot of the times. Like, okay, A, E, G, F, something like that. It's like, no. We're going to do this one. We have to do that, and then you get your foot, play this.
Then your elbow.
Rub
it. Yeah. Was that not the case that none of them? I know McCartney couldn't read music. Was that right?
Yeah. So
if I remember
correctly, it's all just self-taught. It's like
I
think
Phoebe. That's why they said they maybe got all those chords, because they weren't trained as such, so they just did what they wanted, which is maybe why they were able to come up with all that stuff.
I reckon Phoebe and Friends taught them how to play. You know, you've got bare hand, you've got bird claw.
Smelly cat.
Smelly cat. Paul McCartney doing that. Smelly cat. What am I feeding you? Yeah.
Oh, I think Phoebe. It's when Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders comes in and replaces Phoebe, and obviously she's got a fantastic voice and brilliant.
Or when she's stalking Sting, and then his wife goes, "If you don't leave, I'm going to call the police around here." A reunion?
Yes. I love Friends.
Classic Friends. The latest generation don't like it. It's problematic. It's almost as if they have bad traits to learn from them, you know?
Yes,
like I learned so much through Friends. I was like, oh, don't be afraid of commitment. Thanks, Chandler. Thank you for teaching me that. Learn all of your girlfriend's sisters' names. Thanks, Joey. Thanks for teaching me that.
It's true. And the thing is, things are always products of their time and reflect the values of the time and what's acceptable at the time. And obviously things change, but there's no point in, I mean, it's a cancel culture, isn't it? There's no point in just saying, oh, we can't watch that anymore because they said this. Well, yeah, as you say, you don't learn from that. And then, yes, if you're then making a show which is these days that maybe is doing that same thing, then there's a problem. But come on, it's like you'd find fault in everything, couldn't you, if you're looking for it?
I mean, you know, McCartney's got a song with a racial slur in the title on McCartney too. You know, it's hashtag cancel McCartney. You know,
I know. So you could find faults in everything if you went looking for it. There's got to be. You just got to be sensible about these things. I think we're far too quick to jump on bandwagons and go crazy about every little thing. You've just got to put things in, I suppose, into proportion, haven't you? It's like the thing that annoyed me today was on the news. 2 people in America are suing was it Universal, the makers of Yesterday? So obviously a Beatles link there, McCartney link, the one that Danny Boyle made, the movie Yesterday. Yeah. So these 2 people in America are suing Universal, who produced the movie, because they spent $4 renting the film based on the trailer, which featured Ana de Armas in it, but she was cut from the final movie.
Yes, she is, yeah.
Right, so she was cut, even though she's good in it, you've seen deleted scenes, but apparently that part of the story, Danny Boyle decided to remove. So they're suing Universal for $5 million for false advertising. And I'm like, come on.
Well, then don't get into Peter Jackson trailers, because every one of the Lord of the Rings films, the King Kong film, all 3 Hobbit films have scenes that are in the extended cut. And, you know, and even like deleted shots. Like, one of my favorite things to type in is lost scenes, like scenes where they only exist in one trailer. Like there's a bit in Jurassic Park where Dr. Sadler, Laura Dern's character, she's got this leaf. She's looking at a big leaf in the car, and Dr. Grant has to turn her head to get to look at the brachiosaur. Where'd she get that leaf from? Where'd she got this huge leaf from? In the original theatrical trailer, you see a shot of her leaning out the car and grabbing the leaf. That's the only proof that scene fucking exists.
Right.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I think my own thought with that news story is, where would you draw the line? Because almost every movie, the trailer has stuff in it that is subsequently dropped from the released movie because they're still editing it and they're maybe still filming it.
Marvel,
and even Marvel,
they create scenes for the trailer.
That's right. So that's right. They create it, or they actually change what they're looking at, or a character,
or the background, the entire background, might change because it's green screen.
So where do you draw the line? I mean, Star Wars, Rogue One, the Rogue One movie, almost everything.
There's so many shots in Rogue One that I was looking forward to. Well, this is the Rebel Alliance. I rebel. Scene's not in the movie. Krennic with his cloak in the water, walking through all badass, not in the trailer.
The TIE fighter at the end, with Jyn Erso
on the gangway, not in the movie.
Because obviously a lot of that was reshot, but
all of them running through the AT-AT legs and stuff. That whole giant action sequence doesn't exist.
So can me and you sue Disney for $5 million because they weren't in the finished product? It's just stupid.
It's like Lionel Hutz in The Simpsons. He once sued a film studio, the ones who made The Never Ending Story,
right?
Because it ended.
Again, it's where is this line? Where's the sanity? I think it's bonkers. Anyway,
let's crack on with item number 5. Let's wrap this shit up.
Yes, indeed. So it's item 5. So we've kind of talked about original records and re-released records, and I have to say, 2 of the prides of my record collection are coloured vinyl.
Ooh.
So we've got McCartney, which is one of my favourite albums.
Is it in red?
It is in red. Yes. Look at that bad boy.
It's so pretty.
That. Oh my God. It is. I love that. And true story. Was it 3-4 years ago? McCartney re-released some of his albums on coloured vinyl, and I got the email through when I was standing waiting to buy a cup of tea in a soft play place on a Sunday morning, and in the time it took this queue to move, I had on my phone ordered up both McCartney and Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, which is one of my favourites.
Is that gold?
It is.
Oh, that's a nice inner sleeve. Oh my
gosh. Is, isn't it? It is. But this is one of my favourite McCartney albums. I love this. And so obviously, I don't think it had maybe got a vinyl release prior to this. I might be wrong. So I think this was maybe the first time you
limited.
Get it.
Limited.
Maybe limited, yeah. But look at this bad boy.
Oh.
How nice is that?
And it's got the reversed Paul McCartney thing, which is you can read it upside down or back to. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is so awesome, isn't it? So yeah, so those 2 I purchased in the queue while I was waiting for a cup of tea and a slice of caramel shortcake. And this one isn't coloured, but I thought I'd throw it in here anyway because I love my re-released Paul McCartney records, and it's the Flaming Pie one.
I got that as well. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's a very heavy.
It is, yeah.
Set, isn't it? It's just really heavy. And the thing, obviously, it's a lovely looking set and all. But I love the booklet you got with it, which you'll be familiar with, which is really good. And I think most of this was in the CD, so I did have the CD back in the day. But that's a lovely little book to have. So yeah, I absolutely love these 3, but I am still regretting not getting Tug of War. I think that was available, and I think it was just think money. I thought, well, don't go too crazy here.
I'm pretty sure most of the coloured stuff is still available.
More than likely will be Tug of War. I definitely need to get Tug of War.
McCartney's store. Man looks up something on internet again.
Good.
Okay, we've got the. I don't care about the wildlife half speed. I've got it. Okay. You can get McCartney 3 Violet still. That's nice. Right. Color LPs. Here we go.
That's the ones.
Band the Run White, New Pink, Chaos and Creation Gold. Still get that. Wings Greatest Blue. That's sold out. Ram Yellow, Venus and Mars Red and Yellow, Speed of Sound Orange, Thrillington Marbled Black and Red, Tug of War Blue. Still 30 quid. Still get it, bro.
30. Oh.
Yeah.
Guess what I might be doing today?
Pipes of Peace Silver, McCartney 2 Clear. Oh God, I need that.
Clear. Oh. This is what happens, Sam. You'll go into some online record stores and you see something, you go, oh no, who was it the other day? And I thought, oh, that would be so. In fact, Stephen now looks at internet. Yeah. There was something the other day where I just thought, I really, really need to think about buying that. Now, what was it again? Where have you gone?
This is all staying in the edit, don't worry.
It's like your favorite seems to have disappeared from my iPad.
This Thrillington here. Oh, I might get the Thrillington first because I don't have any copy of that.
You don't know?
No, I do need one. Oh, is there no Chobber? Interesting. Yeah, interesting. No Snova VCCP or CCR, whichever one you're supposed to say. LPs. No, there's nothing with the Russian album on his website.
Nothing there, no.
Very
How strange. Right, Sam, where have my favourites disappeared to? Oh, no, that's why. There we are. That'll be why. Bookmarks has been changed. That was nice of Apple to update that. Sound of Vinyl, that's the one. Yeah, who was it? I just thought. Oh, there's Elvis Costello, Spike, Green Vinyl. Who was it again? And it was something I'm sure relative to what we're talking about. I just thought, no, that was, in fact, tell a lie, it was, yes, it was actually a soundtrack, right? And it was...
The Family Way?
Bring it up. No, in fact, that was it, I remember. It is, I don't know if you'll see this, it is The Fog soundtrack by John Carpenter.
Oh, The Fog.
The Fog, right? The Fog. Look at that.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, it actually looks like fog. That's really cool.
It does. Right. And I'm looking at that going, oh, that looks so nice. And then it's like £40. It's like, what?
No, the worst one. If you want the
Jurassic... £55. £55.
The Jurassic Park soundtrack is like 60 quid. And then the Eyes Wide Shut soundtrack is over £100. I'm like, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Like, and that money's going straight to the Illuminati as well. So, you're basically funding terrorism if you buy that soundtrack.
Well, it's the Mondo releases. Is that the Jurassic Park one you see? The Mondo one? Yeah. Cause I looked at that as well and thought that looks so good. I know they did some of the Star Wars sequels as well, which looked incredible, but again, not cheap. So I ended up buying the Batman, Danny Elfman, 1989. I had to. It was like £55 or something. But I had to. And it's not even a double, it's a single album. But it was like, it's one of my favourite
That's not the Prince version, though.
That's the Danny Elfman one. In fact, hold on.
So, folks, for those of you who don't know, the Batman movie from 1989 had 2 soundtracks. You had you had one by Danny Elfman, the score, and then you had the soundtrack, which was by Prince, which is there were 2 albums of music for one film. That's
there. In fact,
How did you not? How did you not get the other one, folks? What is going on here?
So
How did you not grab both to begin with? What's going on?
I know, I just didn't even think about that. But
do you have a laser disc that you need to go get as well? Or?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So you had the Mondo one. I had to have this. I just had to have it, and it's black vinyl. I mean, there's nothing special as such about it, but it's just awesome. I had to have it. It's one of my favorites. Now, you'll laugh because this is immaculate, absolutely immaculate.
I saw the other one was falling
condition.
apart in your hands as you brought it over. Yeah.
So this is actually, I bought this in 1989 when Batman came out, and you can maybe tell. Yeah, you can maybe tell it's seen better days. However, how nice is that?
The disc itself is perfect. Oh wow!
Yeah, isn't that great? You know.
Oh, that's insane.
It is it so good?
So, does it play over that imprint as well? It's not. It doesn't affect the play quality or anything.
No, no, it's decent enough. So I think this was the first Prince album I ever bought. Was Batman. Then worked my way back the way. Yeah. You know, like Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, and such like. But I played this, and I had the cassette of this back in the day. I played both of them to death because I loved that movie. So yeah, so I've got this. Unfortunately, the cardboard sleeve has seen better days. I think that's fair to say. I didn't take. In fact, I'm sure the cardboard sleeve wasn't the greatest to begin with, so it's probably no surprise it's fallen apart. I probably just need to get the glue out and sort it.
Oh, yeah, don't sellotape it for fuck's sake. There's so many wonderful vinyls been ruined with sellotape. Oh my gosh.
I know. So I'll maybe I'll keep that out and glue that later on today. So there we go. That was my 5 items. So yeah, very much books and vinyl and memories.
Memories. Right. Thank you so much for that, though. It's been a wonderful trip through your literal attic. Thank you for actually having an attic on this show. Normally, one of my very first questions to people is, has this actually come from an attic? And the moment I saw this, I was like, well, based by the angles of those walls, I don't need to ask that question. But yeah, Steve, thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been another episode of Macca in Your Attic. I've been your host, Sam Wiles. Make sure you go and check out the Trimming the Musical Fat podcast. I reckon they'll have an episode on Egypt Station in the near future, most likely. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more. Right, folks, make sure you go and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all the malarkey. Follow us on Patreon if you like the show and want to see more content. Take care till next week. Peace and love, peace and love. No more autographs. Bye-bye.